Hey everybody, welcome to the show for Hate It Be. We have Shipman here. I'm the senior strategist at Spiro, and we have Tim on the call. Tim, do you mind maybe giving a couple minutes brief background about yourself?
Sure. Currently, I'm a conversion optimization manager at Root Insurance. I previously worked at Microsoft as the experimentation program manager for Microsoft Store.
So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about was I complain a lot about this, that experimentation is just really not well understood. I think they have this kind of preconceived notion about like CRO equals arbiters of best practices equals they will just tell us what to do on the website and we will gain money. It limits your program growth if they only box you into this thing of like, you are a person who just has the information on how to run it. When instead, it's like, the unsexy thing of what we do is just a lot of research, like a lot of hypothesis writing.
Mhm.
What do you think? Do you suffer a similar fate or have you suffered a similar fate?
Oh, for sure. I think it all started with whoever coined it as conversion rate optimization, and then they kind of screwed all of us as far as that moved forward. So I mean, if you think about what marketers do, we love to ruin things, and so as that particular phrase was coined, it stuck because it creates a promise, a very attractive promise, and in reality, just like you said, we do a lot more. Conversion optimization really is about 20% of our job because about 10 to 20% of our tests will actually optimize the conversion rate that you're looking for. Like call it DMO, decision making optimization. Like
Mm.
we are, we can flex our muscles across well more than just landing page conversion rate optimizations for click through. I try to compare it more so to the stock market as far as the performance you should expect out of it. So, if this particular person or any people asking this question would ask, a financial advisor, what's the one stock I should choose that's going to make me rich?
Yeah.
They're going to give you the same answer that we should be giving, which is, well, it's actually your portfolio of ideas and tests that we run. That's where you should really focus on your expectations and your level of performance. And when we start to look at particular ideas and put a lot of, I would say, even emotional investment in as well as expectations, then we're setting ourselves up for being disappointed. The real value experimentation brings is your whole portfolio of experiments that you've run, the insights you've gained, and in both directions as far as wins and losses.
One of the things that I've actually been pushing a little bit back on with some clients is like, some clients will talk to me and say, like, what is your projected lift for this test? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, this is why we're testing it. But I keep on coming back to this in my head. Like, it, you run the test because you don't know. So therein lays a little bit of that fundamental lack of knowledge. And as a result, it's leading to bad tests because you're not approaching it in the right way. What do you think?
I think it's important to emphasize the low cost of testing in order to get past that particular speed bump. Because they're looking at it as, hey, what's the expected lift of this individual test, so we can first know if we should invest resources into building it in the first place. So they're asking for, yeah, like you said, they're asking for what the outcome you're looking to obtain is before you actually do it. You're dealing with a similar but different mental model. The mental model being, okay, we're used to giving projections in business marketing. I mean, projections all the time.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that experimentation is not one of those areas where you can give very accurate projections. You can give like extrapolations based on past tests of what you could expect to make. But as far as like, especially individual test level, we can't project what our average impact or what our expected impact is going to be.
I want to go a little bit deeper into that in terms of expectation setting within the team. If you have someone doing everything great, if they're a unicorn, like full stop. And it's very hard to find. Do you still see this type of thing within the CRO industry?
I think a lot, especially for companies who are not familiar with the practice itself, they want someone who's reasonably priced, who can do everything that's needed for experimentation to Flourish. So first they get the job description for all the line items you need for experimentation. And then they put it out there for one role. And, like you said, they're looking for a unicorn. If they are going to find someone who can do all those things, they're going to cost a lot more than, or than what you're expecting. Or they're just going to tell you, I can't do all this. You need more people. In which case, if it's early on and you're just trying to get your feet wet, I think the third option you mentioned, hiring an outside agency, is a really good first step for companies that don't know how to invest in it yet.
Yep.
So at least like for the first couple of years, having an agency that you can observe and understand the process from, because it's much lower risk and it's almost in a way uh, lower cost versus hiring all those people in-house and figuring it out on your own.
Just because you hire a bunch of people to run experiments and you have a tool doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go forward.
I think it sounds like you're alluding to the culture of
Mhm.
like the leadership culture of experimentation, because it's also one of those practices where it doesn't get prioritized from that resource perspective because you don't have that culture of innovation at the top. I think
Yeah.
that's one of the most important things. If you're just in a silo and you hire your own CRO practice, then you've got bottom up kind of selling you need to do for something you're already investing in. And it's a much more steeper climb, right? Because you have to keep proving it out at every stage you want
Yeah.
to, increase the budget on it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have that leadership acumen or that person who can come in and immediately help leadership understand the value of it, and really, if they're successful companies, they've been doing some type of experimentation to get to the success it's at. They just they don't have the label correctly put on it. They think experimentation, they think what you said, CRO increase my conversion rates. So having a person who can really come in, or even an agency in some cases, but most of the time in-house makes it a lot easier for politicking, um, and be a change manager.
I think in a perfect world, you have the leadership pushing down, almost like forcing experimentation down everyone's throats in a good way. If you have a CRO person who's not excited, then it's just another thing that is in your toolkit.
You have to really understand how to make people care, and it changes like whoever you're talking to. Developers care about saving time. Designers care about insights that can inform their designs. Business cares about how much you're saving, how much you're making. Analytics cares about the integrity of the data, the different methods we're using, making sure we're being very stringent. You have to speak all these languages, but you have to do it in a way that says experimentation brings value to what you care about, and here's how. And then you have to do it and have to show them, like walk them through the journey itself. I think the less resistant we can be as far as the input we're getting on the program in the beginning, the more particular we can be in the future because we built that relationship and we built that trust.
Sometimes if you just talk about raw numbers, it's not like as interesting. Like obviously everyone loves money, everyone likes winning, that's fine. But to talk about the insight and then say these are all the things that we're going to do now and it increased conversion rate, you're like, oh, this can do a lot of things.
I want to communicate what's important to leadership. Yes, winning and showing our potential money earned is really important. But I think another thing that everyone should be doing to start speaking that language of, as far as what's important to them, is operational efficiencies. So if you're early on in a program that is just brand new, you have maybe your first 2 months as a base or 3 months as a base to establish like a baseline. And then the next 3 months to see how much can we improve that baseline operationally? How many more tests can we run in that short time frame? How much faster can we do analysis through automated reporting, or how much faster can we go through requirements collection through having a Jira ticket that has the metadata we need? Like, there's so many opportunities for time cost savings within an experimentation program that I would almost lead with that, like, because this is money or time money that we've definitely saved. I think that's really important to highlight as one of the things that's important to your leadership.
I really appreciate you taking the extra time. This has been fantastic.
Thanks for having me.